Welcome to RMM Help. In this video we provide an overview of stock adjustments in RMM. Stock adjustments will typically be used to set up our initial stock balances, that's our opening balances, and that's not just at the outset, but whenever we add a new stock item into the system, we'll use adjustments to enter new stock balances. Adjustments also cater for stock discrepancies, and these discrepancies could be where adjustments are required to change the stock level due to reasons not covered by the normal stock movements such as issues, receipts, so that's goods coming in and out, returns or transfers between locations. Examples of these adjustments would be or could be stock write-offs due to damage or breakages, or perhaps when we discovered that stock that we considered previously lost was discovered and we want to put that into the system. Now, having just mentioned that, stock takes also adjust our stock levels. So stock takes are an adjustment, but we have a separate stock take routine to cater for that process. And there's actually a separate help video to describe the stock take process. Therefore, our stock adjustments can increase and decrease our stock balance. So let's look at an example of the most typical usage, which would be to enter an opening balance. I've created a new stock item here. You can see that it's color coded in red because its stock level is 0, and if I tap on the numeric keypad, you'll see that that is a non-editable field. So the only time that we can add a value, increase or decrease that, is by using a stock transaction. So our opening balance, the adjustment, will put a value into here. We can edit the rest of the form, and we can put our cost price in, our selling price, our maximum and minimum levels, and you'll notice that in our tabs up here there are no location details, and as yet there are no transactions. So let's add our opening balance, and we go back onto our stock list and we take batch transactions. We'll add a new batch and we'll choose from our batch type adjustments, and you'll notice that when I save here, this batch number will automatically fill, and that's created, if I just move this pop-up form down, this scrolling form, and if we had multiple adjustments to do, they would be in that scrolling form. This is the standard batch transaction form, and the first field that we can visit is our reference, so we put an intuitive reference in there. I'm going to put in opening balance. We then choose a supplier. Now we could just pick the product, but I'm going to choose the supplier first, and what that does, if we've got 1,000 stock items, which we have, that now filters the stock list so that we only get the stock items for that supplier. And it's worth noticing that we've got a stock level in here, and there's our new stock item for our opening balance, and you'll notice that its stock level is 0. So I select that. That automatically fills the cost center if it was entered in the stock detail form. It shows me the purchase cost, and it's waiting now for a quantity. Our maximum quantity that we had for that particular product was 10, so I'll enter 10, and when I tab, you'll notice that this value here is automatically calculated. It's now grayed out, and that value is our stock value for this new stock item. So what we need to do now is to say where that stock item is going to reside, and we'll say that it's going to be in our medical electronics stores, and you'll notice that there are no stock levels again, but we'll choose medical electronics, and I click on OK, and that saves the record. It closes the form, and at that point it pops it back down into my stock batch details. So we've got a header at the top and a scrolling form. I could add more adjustments into here if I wanted to. If I needed to edit this, I would click on Edit and it opens it again for me. And if I'm satisfied that that transaction is correct and I want the opening balance to go onto my stock details, I simply say Confirm Post. It asks me again, am I sure? And I'll say yes. It then has posted that batch successfully. So let's go back now to our stock list and we'll look at our new stock item for opening balance. The red color coding's gone because it's not 0, and there's our balance of 10. When we go to locations, we can see that our medical electronics store has now got 10 items in. And at this point we can add a bin location. This is alphanumeric free format, and that is typically used when we're doing our stock takes. So we run a stock take between 2 bin locations, and that appears on some of the reports. So I'll type in here. It gives me a list. We can have duplicates if we want to, because you could have multiple products sitting on the same shelf. So I'll select that one and then click on Save. So there's our first location. We could have multiple locations, and I'll then look at our transactions, and now our first transaction has appeared. There's our supplier. The transaction type was adjustment. The reference that we put in was opening balance. The date has automatically been appended, and we have the quantity and the cost. So if we go back onto our stock list, and this concludes the overview of adjustments and in particular stock opening balances in RMM.